In this demo, you're going to see how you can enhance your developer's experience by bringing the latest in serverless computing capabilities with Cloud Run for Anthos.
In this demo, we're going to show you how to leverage Cloud Run on our GKE cluster running on VMware and show you some functionality that Knative eventing brings to the table. First things first, we're going to leverage an FTP server here for an eventing notification. So we're going to go ahead and build that in GKE. We got to create the dumper file. This will look after the messages that it's going to receive. This will allow us to watch the log and see the messages come in. So we'll run that. That creates a service account and role. This allows us to read and write the config map, which will keep the state. This allows us to create the Knative service that gets the events, and it'll scale up when new events come in. We'll be able to show you some scale to zero functionality. If we look, we've got our Knative FTP dumper deployed, and it's running. The pod's up for 20 seconds. This is going to go and scale down after about 30 seconds if it doesn't have any activity. Now we'll go ahead and create the secret that has the username and password for the FTP server that we created earlier in GCP. This last piece will be the watcher itself. This is going to create a sync and it'll send it to that Knative dumper that we just created. So we'll create that via YAML file. Now if we have a look at our pods, we've got our dumper running. Our dumper's terminating because it didn't get any traffic. You can have a look at our namespaces. You see we've got a serving namespace. First thing we got to do is we got to create our eventing functions on our GKE on VMware cluster. So these couple commands will deploy eventing on our on-prem cluster. Let that finish up. You can see it's deployed a bunch of different services and config maps. And now you can see we've got our eventing namespace created. If we have a look inside our eventing namespace, we've got some pods running. Now in this window, we're going to be looking at a few different things. The log on the top, we're going to be having a look at the pod running in the middle, and the bottom is us going to be interacting with the FTP server. So first thing we're going to do is log into the FTP server. If you look on the top, you'll be able to see the log. In the middle, you can see that we've got just the watcher pod running. We'll switch to passive mode. Now let's go ahead and put file 1. And you can see the transfer is complete. If you look at the top window, you'll be able to see the log. There's file 1 and there's our FTP dumper service starting up. So that's an event that's been triggered. Now if we take a look at that pod, we can have a look at the log and see what's going on with that. So now we can look at the log of that actual pod now that it's scaled up from 0. We'll go ahead and put file 2. You'll see up top we've put file 2. And the middle window has processed the file. Now we can go ahead and put file 3. Same thing's going to happen. We're going to see the log in the top. Middle window will also process the file. Now this use case is great because it'll scale down after 30 seconds. We just have a watcher. Now if files come in and we get large amounts of them, we can scale up the pods to process things, and we don't have to run our infrastructure when we don't need it. So now if we take a look at the pods running, you can see we've got our watcher, but we've also got our dumper running. Now our dumper is going to scale back down to 0 because we've stopped pushing files to the FTP site. Obviously this use case gets very interesting when you think about batch processing and processing files at night from various partners. This can help bring down a lot of infrastructure that's running 24 hours a day. Now you can see the pod scaled back down and it's not running anymore. I hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of what eventing can bring to the table. Obviously, the use cases around batch processing and file processing are obvious, but there's lots of use cases we can leverage for eventing. Think of leveraging PubSub and those kind of concepts in cloud. Much of this eventing technology comes out of the Knative community and the Knative project. In this use case, we've been running it on Cloud Run, running on our Anthos on VMware cluster on-prem.